spiritual witnessing is massive when it comes to crossing over work. It is integral. It's just such a part of it that it's really important. I want to talk about it in today's session. If you're new to this channel and you're interested in the other side, crossing over work, the death transition, go ahead and click subscribe. Make sure to click the notification button and you'll find out when the next videos come out. When it comes to crossing over work, spiritual witnessing is everything. Everything. In effect, you could like turn these terms into each other. Crossing over work is spiritual witnessing, and spiritual witnessing is crossing over work. So it really, really resonates when we talk about spiritual witnessing in the concept of helping an individual cross over. Now, I talked about this concept of spiritual witnessing in the YouTube channel, the Sage Method, where we talk a lot about developing intuition and spiritual concepts, but I really wanted to dive into it here, specifically addressing the crossing over process because it is such a big piece of it. While some individuals in life might experience a handful of spiritual witnessing experiences, perhaps they didn't expect to, it just happened. Someone that does crossing over work and works with individual souls to help them transition to the other side is going to be dealing with spiritual witnessing all the time. All the time. So I think it's really important to identify that because spiritual witnessing is a statement of saying, as someone that does the crossing over work, you are showing up. This is a way of saying you're showing up for someone else. And I have to say, I think it's really important to honor the process of doing the crossing over work. I wish everyone did, because it doesn't take a degree. It doesn't take, a particular skill that certain people have. Anyone tells you that, turn around and walk away. It doesn't take any of that. It takes a good heart and compassion and the willingness to step in and commit to a person to say, hey, I see you. I love you. I'm here for you. People do crossing over work simply by encouraging their loved one who perhaps just recently passed that they're okay, you're safe, you're okay, you're going home, you're crossing over, it's okay. That's crossing over work. Crossing over work isn't always this elaborate situation where you're going into a massively haunted house. Crossing over work is showing up. It's showing up for someone. Sometimes showing up for someone in this field, in this work, can be frightening. Sometimes showing up for someone can be really intense and really, extreme. If you're new to this channel, go back to some of the old sessions and listen to some of them. It can be really, really challenging. But everyone on some level who's ever thought to themselves, hey, I really care about this soul. I really care about this person, this spirit, and I want them to be able to safely and with love be able to go through their transition. Anyone that's even had those thoughts, you're thinking in terms of crossing over and you're thinking in terms of spiritual witnessing. Now, let's talk about the easy version of it. And then let's talk about the more difficult version of it. The easy version is being there and being present, attending a funeral, attending a ceremony, meditating, keeping them in your thoughts as they journey home. Anything like that, not only is it beautiful, right? And it's so heart connected, but it's natural. And it's something that a lot of cultures around this world have fallen away from. No judgment. It's just how it's been. I would love all cultures to be able to get back to their roots with that, back to their traditions with it, because it's powerful and it's meaningful and it's carving out some time to say, hey, even though the body has released, even though, the body is no longer alive, my loved one still is. There are traditions all over the world and I could go into them, but you can Google them. It's absolutely fascinating and it's so beautiful. Get a tissue because some of them are really moving. But people will sit with it for a number of days. They will recite, scripts and poetry and things like this to honor it. You're saying, I'm showing up for you. It's not the end. It's not all over. It's not just dirt and worms. I know that you're going somewhere. I know that your energy still exists. It's still there. And I'm still supporting you. I am showing up for you. I am seeing you. And I don't mean seeing you in spirit form. I just mean seeing heart to heart, the connection. I wish that was the case all over. I think we might get back to that. That would be fantastic. But in the meantime, for those of us who are out there doing crossing over work, so we have the very loving, connected soul group showing up for spiritual witnessing. Beautiful. I wish all of us could get back to that. Many people are. And let's just keep going with it. Now let's talk about the people that actively go out there and do this work for, quote, strangers. Right? None of us are strangers. I get it. But perhaps doing the work that you're doing, crossing over work for somebody who is stuck, you had no connection to them whatsoever, you have no relation with them, they're not even in your soul group. I guess we can say in the end they are. Everyone's in everyone's soul group. I get it. But you're not connected to this individual as far as a relationship goes. So you come across an individual who has passed away. They're struggling through the in-between. It's a very psychological process in the in-between. They can get blocked psychologically on things that cause them fear. Really, that's the biggest reason why individuals don't transition very easily to the other side. I will say this. It's not common to get stuck. It is so not common, the death process. I feel like I want to say this all the time because I never want someone to be fearful in watching these videos. These videos and these sessions are based in love. But the process of your transition is automatic. It is like a giant loving light that just pulls you through. Listen to people who have had near-death experiences. They'll tell you it's this automatic pull, and there is comfort and love. On a rare occasion, this is where the crossing over work comes in, because on a rare occasion, an individual can get stuck, and it's usually going to happen through some version of fear. This is where someone who wants to help shows up, says, I can feel you, or I can sense you, or I can see you. I am here. You're not alone. In essence, all the crossing over work you're doing, you're saying you're not alone. Doesn't matter if you're working with someone who's just trying to find their way. They see you, you see them, they take a deep breath and say, thank you, good, I'm not alone, and they cross over. Very simple. Or it can be somebody who has no intention of crossing over. Their fear has messed with them so much that they're sure they're going to this labeled place called hell or something like this. And they've created that in their mind. Perhaps it was what they were told when they were here. And the result of it is that they're holding still and they're in a panic. That's going to take a little bit more showing up for, to say, hey, you're okay. Let's talk about this. Let's just relax. It's energetically, we're going to start to help you move forward. You're going to be okay. I know that it looks like you're going into fiery flames. That's something that is not the case. That's not what's happening. Whatever it takes for you to help that person relax into returning to the other side, which is in essence the source of unconditional love. We're going to take hell and we're going to shoo that concept right out the side of this session and say, you can go over there. So when it comes to crossing over, this idea of where they might go out of absolute fear can cause someone to hold still. I don't know for a fact, can never know any of these things until, we absolutely experience them ourselves. But I speculate pretty heavily that it's more frequent that individuals become stuck in their death transition today than perhaps it was hundreds of years ago. Okay, let's even go back even further than that, right? Because when we introduce these fear-based concepts into society, typically fear-based concepts, I'm being nice, it's not typical. Fear-based concepts, I'm going to be direct. Fear-based concepts are strategy, manipulation, and control. They're control. And to engage someone in being fearful on purpose in order to elicit a particular behavior is a control. It's an act of control. This has nothing to do with the death transition, the other side, the entire process. However, having that thought put into an individual's head, especially repeatedly, can result in an individual struggling with the crossing over process because they are anticipating what they had been told by this controlling body here on earth. They're anticipating, I was told that this was going to happen. Now I'm scared because I stole a pencil in 3rd grade and I'm going to hell. So like these concepts that are controlling and fear-based can really cause an individual to struggle in the in-between and the death process. There's no multiple choice locations. We are here on earth, we return back home to the other side. That's how this works. But that fear can cause them to panic, hold still, push back against the process of crossing over for fear of where they think they're going because of what they may have been told. Now, as Earth is not a perfect existence, all of our experiences are not perfect existence, but the more fear we have in society around this, the more we have individuals who need a little more support, love, and love in the in-between. I was going to list some other things that they possibly need, but no, that's really it. They need to feel that the unconditional love, which is the other side, which is the actual experience. And once that happens, they can relax into it. All of this that I'm talking about, not the controlling factor, but showing up for somebody and saying, I understand that you're scared. I understand that you're scared because of what you were taught or what you learned, but can you feel the love? Can you feel the loving connection? Can you feel your loved ones on the other side who love you and who are pulling to be able to reconnect with you? Can you feel the peacefulness? Can you feel that? These are the things that even if you don't see, if you're just feeling, these are the things that are going to be the most powerful, the most helpful when it comes to showing up, being a spiritual witness for an individual who's having a little bit of a difficult time going through their natural transition back into that state of pure unconditional love. That's what spiritual witnessing is. So whether we're conscious of it and we're here in our living soul group with the living people in our lives, and one of them passes and we show up and we keep showing up and we keep them in our thoughts, that's all spiritual witnessing in the most beautiful way. We hope that that continues and those traditions come back and thrive. When it comes to doing this crossing over work, showing up for somebody sometimes means helping them to release from their fear-based thinking and step into the actual energy of the unconditional love that is the other side, that is where we're all, from. And that's spiritual witnessing in itself. It can be a little bit difficult, but think about this. When you're doing crossing over work, you're showing up for someone. That's it. That's it. And it doesn't take a lot. It just takes compassion. It just takes sometimes a little bit of patience. Mostly it's the willingness to show up. That's spiritual witnessing. And it's important because once somebody leaves, they're not ghosts. You know how I feel about that? I mean, the pop culture term ghost, I get it. If you've been listening to this for a while, you understand where I stand with this. If you're new to this channel, let me kind of introduce this concept to you. Ghosts are spirits. Ghost is a term that pop culture has given to a spirit, and much of pop culture has gotten us to be fearful of someone who is deceased. We use the word ghost and it kind of puts in that concept into our mind of this is something that's scary or this is something that could hurt me. When the truth is, it's Aunt Mildred. It's Uncle George. Do you know what I mean? A ghost is a person. A ghost is a spirit. A ghost is a soul. So I tend to, invite people to step out of the pattern of saying the word ghost, step into the pattern of saying the word spirit. Ghost can dehumanize, and we want to bring that humanity back into the death process. Why? Because ghosts are people too.